Okay, hi everyone. So my name is Arkayla, and today I was going to talk to you about the copper IUD. So, with my experience with birth control in general, I always had a bad experience with hormonal birth control. Back when I was 13, my mom put me on birth control, which was the Depo-Provera shot. I had no idea the side effects or anything. I'm just a kid who just got put on birth control. So a few years went by, the first year went by, everything was normal. And then I started to eventually gain weight. I was becoming depressed. My hair was falling out. I kept telling my mom, hey, I've been doing research on this birth control and this is the side effect. And, I went from a 125-pound girl to, I think, my third year on it, I was at 185, yeah. Once I got to 185, I told my mom, it's enough. Take me off this birth control. I don't want to be on it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not having sex. I'm going to school, doing homework, going home. That's all I'm doing. So she was a little peed off about it and was like, well, if you end up pregnant, then that's your fault, and, do whatever you want to do now. So I got off the birth control. I think I was 16 years old. Yeah, 16, because I was on it for 3 years. 16 years old, everything was fine, no babies, nothing like that. So as soon as I got off this birth control, I went from 185 pounds all the way down to, I think, 140. I think in 2013, that's when I started doing yoga and started becoming more active, and then I eventually went vegan and etc., etc. And then about 2015, this is when I met my daughter's father. We were using protection, using condoms and stuff, but I told him I do natural family planning, which is tracking your ovulation and then going based off of that. So not having sex on your fertile days and tracking your cycle, which was working. I was tracking my cycle and everything. That's how I've been doing it since I started having sex, and there was no issue. I got pregnant once and had a miscarriage, but I was ovulating and I knew I was ovulating. We just wasn't thinking about it at the time. After that miscarriage, about 6 months later, we were having sex, and then got pregnant with my daughter. We were using protection at the time when I got pregnant with her. So after she was born, she's 9 months now, but we just kept butting heads about birth control. I kept explaining to him it's not that easy. The hormones makes me moody, makes me gain weight, and I didn't want to go through that depression again because I was already suffering from postpartum depression and BPD. So I was doing some research because I didn't want our relationship to end because of birth control. That's when I found the copper IUD. And I was always scared of IUDs because I've always seen the commercials about the marina and how it would move places and how people got pregnant, or how people just had all these problems, and there was lawsuits against the marina, and it was hormonal also. So I did my research on the copper IUD, and I heard heavy bleeding. You still have your ovulation, obviously, and it was non-hormonal. So I just kept reading, and I was more interested, and I said, well, the only real fear that I had was it moving out of place. And I'm like, well, I can't gain weight if it's not hormonal. But I've heard some reviews saying that people did gain weight on it, and I'm not understanding how. But long story short, April 2018, I told told my boyfriend, yeah, I'm gonna get the copper IUD, but we're gonna just try this out for a few years, see how it works, and then we don't plan on having any more kids. We have one, and that's all we want. So I told him after, maybe a year of the copper IUD, I'll get it removed, and then he can have a vasectomy. So I got the copper IUD. My biggest fear was the heavy periods. So I'm like, oh no, my first period, I heard it's really, really painful. People were saying that they had to get it removed because it hurt so much. Yeah, pretty much it was just the periods. People were saying that they had heavy periods and all that fun stuff. And then the doctor told me, when I had the consultation, she just kind of explained your periods would be heavier. It's the most effective birth control there is. And then they're going to do an ultrasound to make sure they put it in the right place. So of course when I went in, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm confident, I'm comfortable, get in there, and they didn't have the ultrasound working. So they just kind of put it in me. And I'm like, okay, now I'm freaking out because I don't even know if they put it in the right place. So I came back, I think a week later. It might have been a week later. And they did the ultrasound and confirmed that it was in place. And they said, just, you know, to check, you just reach in there, you feel the string, feel for the string, you know, so on and so forth. Well, my first period came. My periods were already like mild. They were perfect. They were like 3 days. They were never heavy. So I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna probably just be gushing, you know, gushing and everything like that. So first period comes, and I was like, oh, I spotted from, because when you get it inserted, the best time to get inserted is on your period. So, or well, they say in the beginning or towards the end. So I went, I think the beginning of my period, or no, I think it was towards the middle-ish end, because I have a 3-day period, so it wasn't that long. I think it was towards, like, closer towards the end. They gave me that. So after that, I just spotted, and it was just like a tiny little spotting. It wasn't nothing big. I didn't have to wear pads or anything. After that, once my period started to come, because it started getting heavier, I'm like, oh no, you know, let me go buy some maxi, like super extra absorbent pads and stuff like that. But nope, it wasn't heavy, it wasn't painful. I had normal cramps, which I don't cramp as badly as most people do. So it was just kind of like my average cramps and stuff. Like the second day of my period, it was kind of a little bit bad, but it went away. My periods did not get heavier at all. No, they just gotten a lot longer. So instead of having a 3-day period, I would have a 5 to 6 day period, and then like on the 7th or 8th day it would just spot. So I've had 2 periods so far, because it's June now. So I've had 2 periods so far since the IUD, and so far I am absolutely in love with it. Every now and then I'll reach to make sure I feel the string and make sure everything's good. I love it. It's the best birth control ever. I'm able to breastfeed, because I am a nursing mom, so I'm able to breastfeed her, and I don't have to worry about any hormones messing with my milk production. I don't have to worry about weight gain. Nothing. It's just there. So I love it. But you know, everybody is different. Sorry, she's over here coughing. But everybody's different. So this was just my personal experience. I would highly recommend it. If anybody wants birth control without having to remember to take a pill or get a shot every 3 months, or they just want something that's a little bit on the natural side, but they still want full protection. But yeah, that was my experience. So I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to start doing weekly vlogs of maybe just anything, me, my daughter, what's going on in our lives. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I might do weekly vlogs of me doing yoga poses, maybe teaching some free yoga classes online. Subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching my first video. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.